Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Gavin Townsend with Hunt Real Estate, your hometown girl who gets it done and always keeping it real estate here on WBTA and with Nici Johnson.
Good morning.
So we're here to talk about the latest of what's going on in our housing market. Typically, we're talking about the Glow region in general, but this is something that's going to impact everybody everywhere, no matter where you are in the country. Because if you've been waiting on mortgage rates to move,
Yes, okay.
they finally did.
Nope, this is good. I'm glad we're talking this.
And they did in a big way. So, we've had the biggest drop in a year of mortgage rates, okay? So we want to talk a little bit about what that's going to mean now for buyers and sellers. Everybody, I know buyers are probably really excited and think, well, it's all about the buyers. But sellers, you hear me say this all the time. Buyers have to think like sellers. Sellers have to think like buyers. We should have a theme song because...
I love that. Let's do that.
Maybe we will have a theme song. But that is the truth because no matter what's going on in the market, it impacts both sides of a transaction. And both buyers and sellers have to be aware of what's going on. So sellers, turn this up because you need to understand what this means to you as sellers.
I'm actually curious myself.
Not just buyers, right? So... let's just break down a little bit what has just happened. So in early September, actually around September 5th, the 30-year fixed rate fell to its lowest level since October of 2024.
Okay. So break this down for somebody like
So
us.
the lowest rate, the lowest interest rate, we've just experienced the lowest interest rate in over a year. The Feds dropped it down. We had the largest one-day drop in over a year. So things have been sitting around in our area around the high sixes, pushing 7% interest rate.
Okay.
Now we're going to be around, as we are right now, about 6.5%, 6.25%.
Okay.
So that's the biggest one-day drop for the fixed year rate for mortgages. It's the lowest level since August of 2024. Okay. And why did that happen? So... I'm not going to pretend that I'm a major economist, but to break it down very simply,
please.
The catalyst for that would have been that there was a little bit of a weak August jobs report, and it was the second month on the road this summer for the nationwide jobs report, and that was signaling a cooling economy. I'm not here to be an alarmist about the economy, but when you've got back-to-back months with jobs report, the financial markets are reacting to that. And that's why they're pushing rates down a little bit to stimulate.
And that makes complete sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if there's a little struggle here, what can we do to zhuzh it over here? So, the rates are finally breaking out of that high 6% rut that we've seen for over a year.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's in a vast nutshell. That's what's happened in recent weeks here. So why it matters for buyers, lower rates equal lower payments, period. So if you put numbers out there of what we were seeing on the average cost of a home, you're maybe saving buyers around $200 a month on your mortgage payment based on the rate adjustment.
Oh.
So that's great. So lower rates equals lower payments. So compared to May, for example, of this year, where the interest rate was around 7%, versus now that we're below 7% and we're into the mid sixes, that's about $200 less a month. Or about $2,400 a year that you're saving.
That's a lot.
Absolutely.
Of money, yeah.
It's a significant difference.
For sure.
So buyers are happy about that. I think y'all got some use for that money.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Right. So buyers should be happy about that. And this could make homes that were unaffordable a few months ago attainable again. So just that little tweak makes a big difference at different price points, et cetera, because that differentiation is so significant to a buyer. So in a real world perspective with this, first time home buyers, we're seeing FHA and VA loans become more manageable.
Yep.
We talked about this in our monthly market update, and we're seeing that for the first time in a long time. So that's great. And we're seeing the move up buyers. Move up buyers mean folks that are maybe outgrowing their first home, or they're upsizing, they're getting into their forever home. Move up buyers, we're seeing larger homes may now fit your budget. So maybe you've got those buyers that are ready for the dream home and they found it and it was unaffordable, but now with a tweak in the interest rate, it's something that's obtainable to them.
Okay, I don't mean to stop you because I know you're on a roll, but we, like you said, we talk about this monthly market update, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking about the houses that are moving and grooving, especially here in the Glow region. Do you think and or see or hope to see with this, it then going back into that, I don't want to say aggressive, but very competitive market again?
It's a good question, Nici.
Seller buyer.
It could be, and it's hard to tell right now. Right now, I'd say we're in a property by property market, or we're in sort of a balancing market.
Yeah.
But typically, what has happened historically is when the interest rate goes down, the prices go up. But I don't know that that's what's going to happen here. I think that a lot of sellers should be paying attention to the opportunity to still price right.
Yeah.
And get those buyers with a wide variety of financing options to culminate in the best deal for their sale.
Okay.
So don't just blindly say, well, interest rate went down, let's crank up the price again. No, you should be pricing right no matter what's going on, working with your real estate agent, looking at the comps. And it, again, seller, what's motivating your sale? Do you need a quick sale? Are you going to hang on to it forever? Pricing is always a strategy. And just because the interest rate goes down, I'm of the opinion that the prices just don't simply go up as a result.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Because again, your goal is to culminate in a healthy, successful sale, and you'll get buyers that are interested. If you want to rely on the one or two person that look at your home because you price it too high, that's a very finite pool of buyers for a property. If you want to maximize your exposure, you need to appeal to this stronger, more rigorous, more healthy pool of buyers that we're seeing.
Okay.
Now.
So is this something that potentially we will see if it does impact either significantly or not, something we would see within the next couple of months of that monthly market?
I think we're going to start seeing the dribbling effect here. So it's going to be interesting. We're kind of in the fall now, and so we're that last quarter of the year. And we do usually see an uptick in fall listings because it's a great time to list your home. Everyone loves fall foliage. And do the math. If people get under contract in October, they hope to get into the home before the winter holidays really kick in, that 60-day closing. So we might be able to see in this sort of fall market that's emerging really what the buyer demand is and activity is.
Perfect. I'm kind of curious to see myself. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. So this shift can really give buyers some hope.
Yeah.
Is what I'm forecasting, and more buying power. So, you know, you got to pay attention to that. But that's about the buyers. Sellers, you should care too.
Okay.
You should care about this interest rate, and this is what it means to you. Lower rates bring more buyers back into the market, like I was just saying.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? So now you've got more people to play with. You've got a wider piece of the pie of agile and able and willing buyers, whereas you were dealing with a really finite little piece before, okay? So this could mean stronger demand this fall. So that's why I've always said I love a fall listing, and people like to put the pumpkin on the porch and all that good stuff. Everybody kind of chills out a little bit around Labor Day in early September. They're getting back into routines. They're getting back into school and all that. But by the mid to the end of September is when we typically see some listings kick back up. Okay. And so sellers, you want to be ready for that because there could be more stronger demand for buyers this fall. So if you've been on the fence waiting about whether or not you're going to list this fall, this could be the change that sparks your momentum.
Okay.
Right? So, but again, that house better be looking great. You know, you need to be consulting with your real estate agent now to prepare the home for its best exposure, its best marketing
from
plan.
the get-go.
From the get-go.
Yeah.
Don't take missteps and try to correct it later. First impressions mean everything. So, you know, the more affordable payments for buyers, sellers often mean more offers for you, sellers.
True.
Right?
True. Yes. Yes.
So this is important.
Price it right.
Price
to get
it right.
All those offers.
Price it right. Price it right. So, you know, will this last? That's what everyone's question is going to be.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. And again, if I had a crystal ball, if I was the lead economist for the World Bank or something like that, it'd be great, but I'm not. But the outlook depends on inflation,
Okay.
the job market, and the Federal Reserve policy decisions. So all big order things that I can't get into great detail with, but will it last? It depends on those on those indicators and those factors. Rates may drift lower again if a slowdown continues. So what if we have another rate drop?
Okay.
We may not, but we might. And that could bounce if inflation heats up.
So I'm curious, at what point do they start to look at, or does that number start to change? Like, how often do those rates drop or go up? Like, it's not daily,
it's not
is it?
No, it's not a given. It's always fluctuating, but when they make a significant drop like that, there's a lead indicator that pushes them to that. And so jobs report market, things like that, looking at all those other indicators are the things that inform that decision. Like, okay, if we had 2 months in a row of the job report and it's, signaling a recession or something slowing down, maybe a little stimulus is a pump in the arm by lowering the interest rate. Okay. That's a real layman's term way of describing that.
But
I'm
it
sure
helps.
those of you out there that really have a strong economic background can really speak to that and articulate that very well. But in layman's terms, that's how that works.
I understand that, so thank you.
And again, the uncertainty of what's going on, with economics and finances and everything. That's why it's so important to be connected to a lender and a local agent. Okay. Buyers and sellers, because sellers, a lot of you are also buyers at the same time. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Absolutely.
That's why buyers have to think like sellers have to think like buyers. They say it all the time. Sing the song. But staying connected and talking to those local resources and those real estate professionals is really key, because you just never know when your time's going to come. And so you should plan for it. It's always a strategy. But that uncertainty really signals all the more importance of staying connected to a lender and a local agent. The rates have finally broken out of that high 6% range where they've been stuck. Nationwide, you'll see the headlines. The housing market's been stuck for months in like a gridlock. We don't see that so much here. We know we've had more flexibility. We've had success. We've had sales. But from a nationwide perspective, this is a great headline to know that the interest rates are fluctuating to get more buyers stimulated into the market.
Okay. All right. No, your that rate, is that something that is nationwide, or is that something that is kind of a location by location? So
nationwide, they make that adjustment. Then you have to go to your individual lender in your area to see what you qualify for. Okay. So as a whole, as an umbrella, those rates are being adjusted. Then it's a case-by-case scenario of what you qualify for and what you're eligible for, and that's why you got to speak with a lender. That's why that's so key.
Got you. Okay. No, perfect. Thank you.
So that's what's great. And yeah, and shop lenders and see what's the best fit for you. And let me tell you something about that. And this is a different conversation altogether. It's not always just about the rate when it comes to loan products and when it comes to lending and mortgaging and financing. You should be focusing on service too. So just like with real estate agents, you should be interviewing several people to see what's the best fit for you. Mm-hmm. Same thing with lenders. Just don't go to the first lender with whom you talk and stick with them. Talk to a couple different lenders to talk about what do they offer you, what's the rate that they offer, what's the loan product that they offer, and is the person that you're working with available, accessible, answering their phone when you have questions?
I got it.
Okay, so I know we always focus about rate, and it's important. But it comes down to, no matter what's going on in the market, the people on your team are critical.
And we're seeing that.
Yes, of course.
We're seeing that.
It's the people that get the job done. Mm-hmm. So just like with a real estate agent, you should be interviewing and looking at lenders and seeing what they can do for you. So, no one can time the market perfectly, buyers or sellers. It's very rare that you do. But right now, buyers are getting a window of opportunity here with this interest rate adjustment. So it'll be very interesting to continue to monitor this. But, again, just to recap, we've seen the biggest drop in over a year in the interest rates. And so that's creating some real savings potential for buyers. So the action that I encourage buyers, get pre-approved, see what this rate shift means for you and your budget. Maybe that house that wasn't obtainable before is.
Ooh,
look at that and check it out. Sellers, take advantage of the renewed buyer energy. Mm-hmm. But remember, you still have to price it right. So anyway, if you want to know more about today's rates or change your, come up with a plan for your buying power or what all of this information means for you, let's connect. Give me a buzz at 585-344-1321, and we can schedule your complimentary seller or buyer consultation. So give me a buzz, because all this information always means something to both buyer and seller, and that's why we're always here, keeping it real estate on WBTA, to make sure you've got the latest and the greatest information to realize your real estate goals.
I love that. And if for any chance you ever need that information and unfortunately you just can't quite find it, by all means, call us here at WBTA and I will be happy to pass that all along as well. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Nici. Thanks so much. I hope this is great news for everybody. It should be making you feel good.
Absolutely. I can only imagine the people that are going to be running and calling you, and you're probably going to be very busy soon. So
let's go. I'm ready
be
and willing
prepared.
and able. Let's go, folks.
All right. Well,
it's game time.
Have a wonderful day. Yes, go Bills.
Go
No, I'm
Bills.
kidding. Have a wonderful day. And, of course, wonderful week. Until next week, we'll be back right here on WBTA.